The hunter inside the cave did not move at first. It stood there like a living nightmare, its body made of twisted armor and dark flesh that swallowed all light. Red energy pulsed through the cracks in its skin. The bone crown on its head glowed as it focused on the children in Ethan's arms. "They are not yours," the voice growled inside his mind. Ethan felt a strange calm wash over him. The fear was still there, but something else had joined it. Strength. Heat. Power. He tightened his arms around the two glowing children. They began to hum softly, like stars preparing to be born. "They are under my protection now," he said quietly. The hunter took a slow step forward. The ground under its foot cracked. "You are nothing but a weak human," it hissed. "You will break." It raised one long, sharp arm and slashed at him. Too fast for a normal man. But Ethan moved before he even thought about it. His body reacted on instinct. He spun to the side, the claw missing his face by inches and tearing a deep line into the stone wall. Ethan stared for a second, shocked at his own speed. That wasn't human, he thought. The glowing being in the cave, the ancient guardian, spoke again inside his mind. "The bond is awakening, but power without control will destroy you." The hunter attacked again, this time jumping into the air, aiming straight for his chest. Ethan felt the heat inside his blood explode. When the hunter's claws touched his skin, a blast of blue energy erupted from his body. The shockwave threw the creature back into the cave wall with a brutal crash, cracking the stone and filling the air with dust. Ethan looked down at his hands. They were glowing. The same silver-blue light as Lyra. The hunter slowly stood up again, shaken, now filled with rage. "You carry her power," it spitted. "We will tear it out of you." Outside the cave, more screeches filled the air. More hunters had returned. Their shadows moved over the entrance. Dozens of red eyes now glowed in the darkness. They had found him. The glowing guardian's voice became urgent. "The path opens behind the inner wall. Break it and run. I will hold them for as long as I can." "But what about you?" Ethan demanded. "I am already dead," the being replied calmly. "You are becoming something else." The hunter rushed him again. This time Ethan did not dodge. He moved forward. He met it. When their bodies collided, energy exploded between them. The impact sent pain through his bones, but he did not fall. The children in his arms glowed bright white. Suddenly, he felt another presence inside his mind. Small, gentle, innocent. They were speaking to him, without words. They were sharing power. Strength surged through him. He grabbed the hunter's arm, and for the first time in his life, lifted a creature twice his size off the ground. The hunter screamed. Not in anger. In fear. Ethan slammed it into the cave floor. Hard. The ground split under the impact. He stepped back, stunned at himself. "I'm still human," he whispered. But deep down, he knew that was no longer true. The other hunters rushed into the cave all at once, claws and teeth out, screaming for blood. The Guardian of Light rose between them, expanding into a massive wall of energy. The hunters burned as they touched it, shrieking in pain, but they did not stop. "You must go, now," the Guardian roared. Ethan looked behind him and saw the inner wall of the cave, thin and cracked. Symbols were glowing on it, the same symbols as on the children's cloth. He ran for it. Using all his strength, he kicked the wall. Once. Twice. On the third, it shattered, revealing an ancient tunnel, pulsing with blue light. Behind him, the Guardian screamed as the hunters tore into it. Its light began to fade. "Remember who you are becoming," it called out one last time. Then the light vanished. Ethan ran into the tunnel. The entrance collapsed behind him, sealing the hunters out. He did not stop running. The tunnel led downward into the burning heart of the planet. Lava rivers flowed on both sides. Ancient machines moved inside the walls, still alive despite the planet's death. Symbols flashed as he passed. It was like the world was recognizing him. Testing him. At the end of the tunnel stood a massive stone gate. It had no handle. No control panel. Just a symbol in the center. The same symbol now glowing on his chest. He stepped forward. The gate responded. It opened slowly, with the sound of a living creature breathing for the first time in centuries. Beyond it was not rock, but space. A tear in the universe. Stars twisted inside it. Time bent. Reality screamed. The wound in space. A portal between worlds. Between life and death. Between human and something more. Ethan stood at the edge, staring into the impossible. And then he heard a new voice inside his mind. Not the children. Not Lyra. Not the Guardian. This voice was darker. Older. And very familiar. Welcome back, experiment number 8. His blood turned cold. What did you just call me? Ethan whispered. The voice chuckled. You were never meant to be just a human. And the portal began to pull him in. The universe cracked open around Ethan. Colors twisted like broken glass. Time slowed, stretched, then snapped. He felt weightless, as if he had been torn out of reality and thrown into a dream made of stars and screams. The children held in his arms began to glow brighter, forming a soft shield around them. Then, silence. No sound. No wind. No movement. Just black space filled with dim stars. Ethan floated there, his body slowly spinning. In the distance, strange machines moved through the void, silent and massive, shaped like broken rings and long spears. But something else was there too. Watching him. You crossed the wound, the voice said again. Just like you were programmed to do. Ethan turned. A figure stood before him, floating in the emptiness. Not alien. Not human. It wore something that almost looked like a human body, but made of metal and light. Its face was smooth, without eyes or mouth, yet its voice was clear inside his head. Who are you? Ethan demanded. I am Overseer HFY, it replied. I was created to watch you. To guide you. To test you. Test me for what? To see when you would remember who you really are. Ethan looked down at his hands. The blue glow was still there. Stronger now. Flowing through his veins like living energy. I am human, he said, but his voice lacked confidence. The overseer moved closer. No, Ethan Cross, it said. You are what happens when humanity tries to become gods. Images suddenly burst inside his mind. Scientists in white rooms. Wires in his skull. A child crying out in pain. A symbol burned into a small chest. The same symbol that now glowed on him. You were part of Project Starseed, the being explained. A program to create a human who could survive any world. A human who could control alien energy instead of being destroyed by it. I don't remember any of this. Ethan shouted. They erased you so you could live as normal, the overseer replied. Until the moment you were needed again. Ethan's eyes widened. And the children? He asked. They are the last natural-born starbloods, HFY said. The same energy placed inside you, but pure. Untouched. Uncontrolled. They are not weapons, Ethan snapped. No, the overseer agreed. They are the future of an extinct civilization. And the key to stopping what is coming. A deep, slow vibration rolled through the space. Far away, a red storm the size of a galaxy began to move. Inside it were thousands of hunters. But now he could see the truth. They were not wild creatures. They were soldiers. Who controls them? He asked. The overseer paused. Your own species, it finally said. Ethan froze. Humans created the hunters, he whispered. Yes. A darker part of your kind, HFY said. Humans who believed power mattered more than life. They could not control the star blood energy, so they created beings that could steal it. Ethan's fists clenched. That means Lyra's world, he whispered. Was destroyed by humans, the overseer finished. Pain shot through his chest. The blue light flared around him violently. Behind him, the two children stirred for the first time. Their eyes slowly opened. They were glowing completely now. They looked at him. And again, he heard them inside his mind. Soft. Kind. Loving. Protector. A new emotion filled him, rage mixed with purpose. You brought me here for a reason, he said to the overseer. Yes, it replied. Beyond this sector is a hidden human outpost. The true heart of the Hunter program. If it is not destroyed, they will wipe out all surviving starbloods, and then turn on innocent worlds. How do I destroy it? The overseer opened both arms. You will not be alone this time. Dozens of lights suddenly appeared around him in the darkness. Human ships, damaged, lost, forgotten. But now they were waking up. His mind connected to them like they were an extension of his body. You can control them? He asked in shock. No, HFY said. You can. He felt it. Power flowed outward from him into the ships, into ancient weapons, into engines that had not burned in centuries. They obeyed him. The red storm started moving faster. The Hunter army was coming. The stars themselves seemed to shake. Make your choice now, Ethan Cross, the overseer said. Run and save only the children, or stay and become the weapon that ends this war. He looked down at the two small glowing lives in his arms. Then at the approaching enemy. Then at the fleet now waiting for his command. Lyra's words echoed in his heart. You must save them. Ethan lifted his head. His voice was calm. Strong. Certain. I'm done running. The ships around him powered up. Blue light filled the darkness. And Ethan spoke for the first time not as a man, but as something more. Every hunter in this sector, listen carefully. His mind reached across the void. You wanted humanity, he said. Now you have it. The entire fleet turned toward the storm. Weapons charging. Stars bending. A war about to begin. The first blast of light ripped through the darkness of space. One of the human ships under Ethan's control fired a beam so bright, it looked like a new star was being born. It tore straight into the red storm, cutting through the first wave of hunters. They screamed. Not with sound, but with pain that burned inside the mind. Hundreds of them vanished into ash and broken metal. But the storm did not stop. It grew. Thousands more hunters poured out, like insects from an open wound in the universe. Their bodies twisted and changed as they flew, adapting to the weapons, becoming faster, stronger, smarter. They are learning, the overseer warned. So am I, Ethan replied. He stretched out his mind and felt the ships like fingers of his own hands. With a single thought, he sent them into formation. They moved perfectly, like a living metal bird made of many wings. Fire in sequence, he commanded. Blue energy spread from each ship, forming a massive web. When the hunters touched it, they froze, then shattered like ice under a hammer. Ethan did not smile. He remembered Lyra's voice. Her pain. He fought for her, and for the children now resting against his chest. Protector, the soft voice of one child whispered again in his mind. You are safe, he answered. She lied to you, a new voice suddenly echoed through the space. Deeper. Colder. Human. A large, black ship slid forward from within the storm. Unlike the hunters, this ship was clean, sharp, advanced. Human design, but twisted, cruel, covered in red symbols. A face appeared on Ethan's screen. A man. Cold eyes. Half-metal skin. A thin smile. You were always the best one, Ethan, the man said. Even as a child. Ethan's blood turned to ice. Dr. Harlan, he whispered. You're dead. You watched me die, Harlan replied calmly. But death is only for the weak. I learned that from you. The man behind the hunters. The true monster. You created them, Ethan said, his voice shaking with rage. I improved them, Harlan corrected. They are the next stage of evolution. And you were meant to lead them with me. I was a child, Ethan said angrily. You were a project, Harlan smiled. A successful one. Behind Ethan, the two children began to glow stronger than ever before. The smaller one lifted a tiny hand, pointing it toward the black ship. And suddenly, the space around it began to crack. What is that? Harlan's smile faded. Ethan felt it. The child was not just star blood. It was something far older. Stop her! Harlan shouted to the hunters. They rushed forward in a dark wave. But before they reached him, the children cried out together. A sound from the beginning of the universe. A pulse exploded from their bodies, racing outward like a living shockwave. Every hunter it touched fell apart instantly. Not burned, not broken. Erased. As if they had never existed. The storm collapsed on itself. Silence returned. Harlan stared in shock. Incredible, he whispered. That power belongs to life, Ethan said. Not to monsters like you. Harlan laughed. You still don't understand, Ethan. I don't need the hunters anymore. His ship opened like a wound, revealing a red glowing chamber inside. Because I have become something better. His body began to change. Metal grew over his skin. Red light replaced his eyes. His body stretched, twisted, growing massive. Not human. Not hunter. Something new. Something worse. The space around him shook. I am the first true ascended human, Harlan's voice boomed. And I will take the children, and finish what I started. He rushed toward Ethan faster than any ship should move. The fleet fired at him, but he shattered every attack with his own mind. Ethan felt overwhelmed for the first time. Then, he felt another presence. Behind him. A familiar warmth. Soft blue light wrapped around his body like gentle arms. Lyra. Her spirit. You kept your promise, her voice whispered. I'm trying, he replied. You must go further, she said. Become what you were always meant to be. But you cannot do it alone. The two children floated from his arms, hovering in front of him now. They were no longer small and weak. They were glowing beings of pure starlight. We share, their voices echoed together. We become one. Blue light exploded from them into Ethan's chest. His entire body turned into living energy, half human, half star. Even the overseer was silent. Harlan reached him and stopped in shock. What, are you? He whispered. Ethan opened his glowing eyes. I am what happens, he said, his voice now layered with power, when humanity chooses to protect, instead of destroy. Then he raised his hand. And the universe listened. The sky above the broken moon began to change color. Deep red clouds rolled in from nowhere, thick like blood in the air. The wind howled across the cracked surface, carrying whispers in no language a human or alien should hear. Ethan felt it in his bones. Something terrible was coming. The alien mother stood still beside him, her glowing skin turning darker with fear. Her 4 arms slowly pulled her children behind her, like a shield made of love. The smallest child trembled, its eyes wide and wet. "They are here," she whispered in broken human words. "The hunters." Ethan tightened his grip on the plasma rifle taken from the fallen guard. He had only 1 charge left. 1 chance. "Who are they?" he asked, keeping his eyes on the dark horizon. "The Void Dominion," she said. "They destroy worlds. They take children. They break minds. They killed my mate. They burned my home." Her voice shook. Suddenly the ground began to vibrate. Small stones lifted into the air, floating like they were trapped in invisible hands. A low humming noise filled the sky, growing louder, and louder, and louder. Then the ships appeared. Huge black shapes pierced the red clouds above them. Not 1, not 2, but 6 massive warships surrounded the moon. Their surfaces swallowed light. No stars reflected off them. They were like pieces of night ripped from space. A voice echoed from the sky, deep and cruel. "Return the offspring," it commanded. "Human, step away. You are insignificant." The alien mother let out a sharp cry, her claws digging into the rock. "No," she shouted. "He is my protector now." Ethan looked at her in surprise. Protector. He had never protected anything before. Not even himself. A black beam shot down just meters away from him, melting rock into lava. He jumped back, shielding his face from the heat. "Final warning," the voice said again. "Deliver the young, or be erased." Ethan laughed, a short, broken laugh. "You picked the wrong human today," he said under his breath. He pressed the device the children had given him to his chest. It glowed brighter than ever. Blue lines of light wrapped around his arms and legs. His mind filled with alien images, ancient warriors, stars collapsing, beings of light fighting endless darkness. Power flowed into him. His eyes burned bright blue. A small ship suddenly rose from behind a crystal ridge, his old scouting craft. But it was no longer broken. The crystal children had fixed it, improved it. It shone like living metal. "You have a ship?" the alien mother asked. "They rebuilt it," Ethan answered. "And I think they gave me more than that." The warships opened fire. Blue and red energy beams rained down like a storm. Ethan raised his hand without thinking. A force shield exploded outward from his body. The beam struck the barrier and bounced back, smashing into one of the enemy ships. It cracked down the center and exploded in silent fire. The void ships paused. For the first time, they hesitated. "What is he?" the dark voice asked, now uncertain. "He is human," the alien mother said proudly. "And humanity does not kneel." Ethan ran toward his ship, signaling the mother and her children to follow. They climbed inside quickly, their long limbs moving with fear and hope. The cockpit sealed. Another blast struck the side of the ship, shaking it violently. Ethan slammed the controls. The engines roared. The small ship launched upward, straight toward the largest warship like a bullet fired by a god. Inside the cockpit, alarms screamed. "Ethan," the mother cried. "We cannot win this." He looked at her. "We don't need to destroy them," he said. "We only need to escape." "But where?" she asked. He touched the glowing device again. "A place they can't enter." A strange map appeared in the air, made of light. A hidden system between black holes. A dead zone in space. No life. No signals. No paths. The perfect hiding place. The void ships gave chase. Energy beams streaked past the cockpit. One hit the left wing. It tore away in fire. The children screamed. Ethan clenched his jaw. Blood ran down his forehead. "Hold on," he shouted. He pushed the engine past its limit. Space began to warp around them. Stars stretched into lines. Light twisted. Time felt like it cracked open. The dark voice roared in the sky. "You cannot escape the void." But then, the device shattered into pure light. A hole opened in space itself, a glowing tear in reality. Ethan flew straight into it. Everything turned white. Then, silence. No alarms. No voices. No war. Only darkness and distant stars. They had made it. The hidden system. The alien mother slowly turned toward him. "You could have left us," she said softly. "You could have saved yourself." Ethan looked at the children, now safe, asleep in a pile together. "I told you," he said. "Humans are strange creatures." She smiled. "And now," she said, "you are more than human." Outside the window, something moved in the dark. A shadow larger than planets. Watching them. Waiting. The real war had just begun. The hidden system was not empty. It only looked empty. Across endless black space, broken planets floated like bones of ancient giants. A dead sun burned in the distance, cold and dim, its light pale and weak. Strange blue fog twisted slowly between the rocks, glowing like lost souls. Ethan's ship drifted in silence. Inside, the alien children slept in a tight group, their small bodies rising and falling in slow, peaceful rhythm. For the first time in a long while, there was no fear on their faces. But Ethan knew it was not over. He could feel it. The alien mother sat beside him, her eyes fixed on the darkness outside. "This place is forbidden," she whispered. "Even the void fears it." "Then it's perfect for us," he answered. But the moment the words left his mouth, the darkness moved. A wave of shadow passed in front of the dead sun. It was not a ship. It was not a creature. It was something else. Something ancient. Then a voice entered his mind. Not loud. Not soft. Just, everywhere. "You do not belong here, child of Earth." Ethan's whole body froze. His hands trembled on the metal controls. He could feel the being's presence inside his thoughts like cold hands. "I don't care who you are," he said through clenched teeth. "I'm not leaving." The alien mother gasped as the blue fog outside began to pull inward, forming a massive shape. Slowly, a giant figure made of stars and night formed in the void. Its eyes were burning galaxies. "I am the keeper of the final dark," it said. "And you carry war to my doorstep." "I carry life," Ethan whispered, standing up in the cockpit. "And I will protect it." The being tilted its cosmic head. One human against the end of all things. Ethan thought of Earth. He thought of his lonely life before this journey. Of cities he hated. Of a world that never cared if he lived or died. Then he thought of those children. Small. Silent. Innocent. And a fire burned in his chest that was stronger than fear. "One human," he said, "is more than enough." At that moment, the void arrived. Space ripped open behind them. Dozens of black warships poured into the hidden system like parasites. The same cruel voice echoed again. "We have found you." The alien mother pulled the children close to her body. "This is the end," she whispered, shaking. Ethan stepped between the window and the fleet. "No," he said. "This is where it ends for them." The ship shook as the dark being raised its hand, if it could even be called a hand. You have brought destruction here, human, it boomed. Then let me decide where it goes, he answered. He stepped out of the ship. No helmet. No suit. Just open space. But he did not die. The energy the children had given him wrapped around his body again, forming a glowing blue armor of pure light. He hovered before the armies of the void, one man against 1,000 ships. The void commanders laughed. Kill him slowly. Thousands of weapons charged at once. The alien mother screamed his name. Ethan closed his eyes and thought of every human who had ever stood against darkness, even when they were afraid. He opened them. And the universe answered. A massive blast of white light burst from his chest, brighter than a supernova. It spread in all directions, smashing into the void ships. They tried to escape. They tried to fight. But light consumed them. One by one, they shattered. The dark being in the void roared in pain as the light touched it. Stars blazed through its shadow form. You are ruining the balance, it screamed. I am restoring it. Ethan roared back. Because that is what humans do. With one final surge from his heart, the entire fleet of the void vanished, erased, like they had never existed. Only silence remained. And a single human glowing in the dark. Slowly, the light around him faded. He fell, drifting back toward his ship. The alien mother rushed forward and caught him with her long arms. Tears of light fell from her eyes onto his face. You saved us, she whispered. You saved everything. He gave a weak smile. That's the problem with humans, he said. We don't know how to quit. The cosmic being watched him carefully now. Not with anger. But respect. Human. You have defied darkness itself. From this day on, this place is no longer forbidden. It will be your sanctuary. A new star ignited in the system, a warm, golden sun. Dead planets began to heal. Life returned to stone. Color bloomed throughout the void. A new world was born. For the children. For the mother. For hope. She looked at Ethan, her hand resting over his heart. What are you now? She asked. He looked at the bright new star. I'm still human, he said softly. But now. I finally know what that means. Outside, the children laughed as they watched the newborn world forming. Humanity was not the strongest. Not the biggest. Not the most advanced. But it was something the universe had never seen before. And the universe would never forget it.